Same format, 250s, 450s together. Let's go 250s on the far end, 450s come this way. In the 250 division, finishing in third, riding for Geico Honda, Chase Sexton. Finishing in second, riding for Troy Lee Designs Red Bull KTM, Jordan Smith. And your winner, riding for Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, Austin Forkner. And in the 450, finishing in third, riding for JGRMX, Yoshimura Factory Suzuki Racing, Chad Reed.
Yeah.
Finishing in second, riding for Red Bull KTM, Cooper Webb. And your winner, riding for Monster Energy Kawasaki, Eli Tomac. Congrats, guys. Chase, solid podium finish, and you've definitely showed the speed the last 2 weeks to be up front, but little mistakes here and there. What is it going to take to kind of clean some of those things up and make a move up closer to first place?
Yeah, the first two races I got myself where I needed to be and made two mistakes, which cost me, I think, to be in any sort of contention. Yeah, third race I just told myself I gotta go out there and try and win because I was kind of a little bit back on points. So yeah, it was good. I felt really good again today. I just maybe felt a little flat in the night show, but yeah, looking forward to next weekend for the East-West Shootout.
Jordan, on the podium, you mentioned that the suspension guy for the team made some adjustments throughout the night, just kind of trying to help compensate the wrist a little bit. Can you talk about those adjustments, maybe what was done on the bike to kind of help with an injury like that?
Yeah, I mean, we just didn't want to make it kind of too harsh in the initial part, just to kind of give that good feeling for the wrist. So we just, in our decisions, just kind of kept that in mind to try and get it through the night as good as possible. Whenever I rode on Thursday back at MTF, it was I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it through the whole day or not. I barely made it through one 10-minute moto. So it was a tough night show, but made it through it and salvaged good points, and that's all I could ask for tonight.
Austin, you're 3 for 3 now on the season, but next weekend is a new challenge with the East-West Showdown. Just talk a little bit about what your thoughts are going in, obviously, racing against the guys you've been racing, but also against Adam and Dylan and Colton, Shane and everybody from the West, and knowing that that's a new challenge for you.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. Obviously, my goal is still to win. I don't really care who I line up against. Like, it's always still to win. But, I mean, it is, I guess, going to be in the back of my head that if I have to do a crazy pass or something to try to get one of those guys, maybe not, because, I mean, it's for points, so you want to do it, but they're not in our championship. So I still want to win. I still want to try to beat those guys, and, you know, just I haven't raced with them all year, so I've ridden with them at the test track, but it'll be interesting.
Chad, congratulations. Physically, how you feeling?
Yeah, no, I mean, physically, I feel fine. It was a fun day. You know, like right from the beginning, I felt okay. For me, it's not always about the, you know, where you're at. I mean, you know, I'd be lying if I didn't like to see myself up there in the top 10 in practice, but I don't ever get too stressed on being 14th. It definitely gets old, but I just felt racy, felt like a good start. I could go. It was fun. You know, track was challenging tonight. It's fast paced. Whoops were tough. So yeah, that suited me tonight.
Obviously happy with the podium, but another stat for you, 160 top fives now as of tonight. So congratulations on that, and again, congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, I think I'm more happy about I think it's 132 podiums.
That one's better?
Top 5 ain't that cool. Podium's always better. Do you even have that start, guys? But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just fun. Super proud to be up here with these guys. These dudes are the best greatest Supercross riders in the world, and honored to be here and do it at this late in my career.
Cooper had a chance to talk to you before the race and after the race, so kind of got to feel out your thoughts on the entire day and the night. And we kind of talked about just the progressions you went through the night and how each race got a little better. And again, just kind of take us through that. As main event one, you're going backwards a lot, had to kind of recover and settle, and then it seemed like all of a sudden, once it's stable, then you started moving back forward throughout the rest of the night and obviously get the win in main three.
Yeah, it was a tougher day for sure. I mean, practice is everybody's very close in practice, but it was more of a struggle for me today. And I knew going into the mains from practice, you want to best gate pick you can. So would like to have qualified a little better, but yeah, I was just struggling a little bit. Was messing around with the bike a lot and not really getting anywhere. So it was good to, after the first main event, kind of went back to what I knew and was able to ride it and got a whole shot, which made my life easy. And Eli got around me, but it was good to at least ride with him because he was obviously the best guy today by far. So yeah, last main event was good to get a good start and make some passes and run up there and get a main event win or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I was pumped to get better and still be up here on the podium with a second. And yeah, shows me I got plenty of work to do to keep it going.
Eli, congratulations. 2 rough weekends, obviously, especially on paper with the points and the points that were lost. But just tell me how important tonight was, not only just to get the win, because this would be your first win on regular conditions that weren't full mud, but just from the championship perspective, to get back on the top and start chipping away at a points lead that was 16 and trying to close that thing down.
I mean, that's the way it was. Like, tonight was kind of like, it would have been a big swing. If I would have had my race again that I had last week, I would say it was pretty close to being over with for that championship. So, gosh, just such a better weekend. We were just, feeling it, through all those practices. And, of course, going into, the third main there with that big cushion, it's like sometimes you get a little too comfy and then, totally blew the start there. And then I had another spot where I went, flying off and almost hit the hay bale. So, gosh, got it back together. And then, of course, Coop's charging to the front too. I'm watching that on the pit board too. Man, I'm like, gosh, man, we got to go. So, but overall, such a better weekend for us. And, just feels good to be here.
In main three, as you were coming through, at one point you had it, then Cooper had the overall, and you got it back. Were you monitoring that? Did you know where you needed to get to or where he needed to get to? Were you aware of that situation? I mean, obviously knowing that he was up front, but did you know exactly points-wise where you needed to get to?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple laps, maybe not, but I knew I had to go forward. And, Kranz did a good job tonight, putting position on there. And, at one point I was like, he put three more guys. I'm like, man, we're going to have to work for this one. So, yeah, and then with Dino going down, that made it a little bit easier. But either way, it was pretty tough there.
Jason Wygant, Racer X. Eli, I heard recently you said in a podcast when you were a kid growing up, you actually watched Chad Reed in some races. So maybe for Cooper also, what's it like to be battling with the guy as you're in your prime and he's still here?
I mean, I remember my first year, like, it's intimidating. I was racing Chad and James and those guys, like, going down the rhythm lanes with them, you're like, it's intimidating. Like, those are the guys you watched and looked up to, and, those were the guys I did. So, it's just cool. It's cool that, you're still out there digging it.
Quick follow-up, Eli. You did pass Chad, and he got you right back in that third main event. How'd that feel?
Yeah, I mean, we were just going at it.
Chad, how'd that feel?
Yeah, it's always good to pass the kids. Doesn't matter which one, but the guy that was on, like Cooper said, the guy that was on fire tonight was nice. But yeah, I was good, and it was good actually. I kind of tried to latch onto the back of him, and I found a few good lines from him.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action. Chad, could you talk a little bit about, I think this is JGR's first podium this year, and I think maybe even since last year. So not only, you got the podium, but kind of like doing it for the JGR guys. How does that?
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point in my career, I'm a fill-in guy, an ambassador for the sport. So, always feels good to get up here and do your job. I mean, like, no mistake about it. Like, I do this because I believe that I can be here. Like I don't work my ass off during the week to, get the positions that I have, and it's been extremely just frustrating week in and week out for the last few years. So, to have a night that you go out and you're fighting for those top positions, it's fun. Like that's something that I've been used to, and you get in the back and you fight with guys that just the rhythm's completely different. Like the more forward you go, they just race forward. They race you a little bit more fair. They don't jump from one side of the track to the other, and it's enjoyable. And for me, like it's an honor to be a part of JGR. Coy and J-Bone believed in me and gave me a position this year, and I moved to North Carolina and having fun there, and we changed the bike a lot this week. And for me, I think it's always nice to have trust in me, and then to be able to give them a result like this.
Steve Guyberson with Vital MX. Eli, talk about the difference between last week and this week, because that was a huge difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a light switch really. Last week, all I did was go backwards, and it was just a struggle. So we actually went to California this week, did some work, got comfier, and it paid off. So it was good that way. It was nice to see the testing and that stuff pay off.
Tyler Tate, USA Today. Austin, for you, 5 for 5 so far on the season. Walk us through like the program that got you to this point to where you can be 5 for 5 and to have such success and such consistency.
Honestly, I don't really know. I just think it's a combination of things that I've been my trainer in the gym, my riding coach, just everything, the bike, my team, everything is just kind of clicking for me this year, I guess. Obviously, I haven't started worse than second this year, I don't think. So that is huge, obviously. It's I mean, honestly, that's one of the biggest things this year has just been my starts. They've been dialed, and especially when I can get a whole shot and get out and ride my laps and focus on me, that's just the biggest thing. So I want to say it's a combination of a few different things that are just kind of have me clicking right now.
Matt Williamson, Motocross Performance Magazine. Two-part question for Chad. Kind of as your careers advanced, how has your training changed? And would you have any tips for, there's a lot of riders I know that are your age that race at the amateur level. And my second part question is, how do you feel about that crowd today? I think a lot of it was you.
It was fun, consuming a lot of CBD these days. But other than that, just working hard. It doesn't change, like the grind, like everyone always asks me, like, what keeps you coming back? And for me, it's the everyday grind and the traveling. Like I wish we were like MotoGP and we went and I got to pack a passport every weekend and we got to travel the world. It just, for me, I've been traveling the world since I was 11 years old, and I just love it. And the thought of not doing it freaks me out. This is possibly my last year, but that scares me saying that, it really does. So we'll see. I'd like to come back maybe one more year and at least get that opportunity to say bye and thank you, kind of like tonight.
This question is for Cooper. Cooper, you've probably already talked about this, but last weekend that pass near the end of the race on Kenny, I mean, where does that rank in like some of your all-time passes or wins?
Yeah, that was last week, but obviously it was probably one of the better ones for sure, if not the best.
Cooper, just talk about your progress a little bit. You mentioned, I guess, in practice, not quite where you wanted to be. It seemed like as the whoops got worse, as the night got on, it worked a little better from you. Is that the way you saw it as they started to break down? Because it seemed like a struggle maybe in the first main, but it wasn't as much of a problem in the third.
Yeah, and like I said, we were kind of making changes that didn't suit him as well. I think the last main going back to base and seemed to be a lot better. But yeah, they were a little weird. You know, they were probably one of the bigger sets this year, but real uneven. So it was tough to get a good rhythm. And but yeah, I was able to kind of actually when Eli passed me in the second one, I kind of saw how he was able to get on him and do them. So was able to get better actually once he got around me, and I could kind of see what I needed to fix.
Jordan, could you just talk about the injury you said you had a little bit? When did that wrist injury take place?
Yeah, it was last weekend, and with 2 laps to go, whenever I fell in the whoops, I just held on to the bike a little long and twisted it real weird, and went to doctors on Monday, got x-rays and MRI, and nothing broken or tore, just a bone bruise. Took all week off trying to let it heal, and tried to ride Thursday. Got 1 10-minute moto in. I knew I was going to have to do practice and 3 10s here, and that's all I could get. It was hurting pretty bad, and worked on some starts. Those paid off tonight. And then, Dr. Navarro just taped it up real good, and, that helped stabilize it. And as well, Mobius actually sent me some wrist braces this week to try, and that helped a lot stabilize it on landings and jumps and stuff. So without that, probably wouldn't have been able to make it through the night. So, it was just kind of just as the night got, like the first practice, it wasn't too bad. Kind of the adrenaline and everything helped out tonight compared to riding on Thursday, but as the night went on, it got worse and worse, and like every time I would come off, it would kind of be out of place, and Dr. Navarro would have to kind of squeeze it and put it back in place. So it was a struggle tonight, but came and did what I wanted to do and just salvaged some points.
Eli, you seem to really like the track, even from the first time practice session. And you used that to make some passes when you needed to, especially in that first one. So what was it about the track that worked for you so well?
Yeah, I was just having fun on it all day, really. The first 2, it had really good traction, and you can move around. And that first one, I was making a lot of moves on the split lane, going on the right side with the triple quad, and then it was setting me up for that turn. Like, I probably made 3 passes on that square line there, so that was good. Going down the next lane and the far 90 lane with the table over, like there was some good little technical stuff in it. So and then the whoops really held up all the way till that third main to where they really got kind of flat and down to that that kind of a V rut. So it was just a good track, at least for my style.
Matt Williamson again. Got a question for Chase and Austin. I can't see both of you, but had the opportunity to watch both of you guys grow up doing the amateur stuff, and there's always been a really good, I would say, always a good battle between you guys, and it's been fun. What's it like now at this level? Now you've got some time under your belt in Supercross and pro motocross. Has there been, anything that's changed in that? Is something more fun than it was before, or I guess tell us what it's like.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a lot of the guys on this coast, I kind of grew up racing. Me and Chase, obviously, were like we battled a lot in amateurs, but even Cooper, Justin Cooper, I grew up racing with him. Jordan was just like a couple years ahead of me. So basically everybody in the class right now, like as far as some of the top guys, I kind of grew up racing with, or we just kind of grew up in the amateur scene. Nothing has really changed. I mean, it's cool to see that guys, that we had a couple like strong guys come out. Me and Chase and Mosman and Cantrell actually came out of basically all the same like age group. Like we were all basically battled growing up. So I mean, not a lot has changed. We're still battling and pretty much racing how we did then. It's just Supercross and motocross, but bigger now.
Yeah, it's cool. We've been racing each other, I think, since I was 9 years old. So it's definitely cool to race him. And, I'd like to put up more of a challenge. He's been killing it this year. He's been getting really good starts. But, it's been cool. Feels like an amateur race out there almost. It's a lot of our classes out there. And, like Austin said, Jordan's just a little bit older, but he was not far in front of us. So it's cool, and it's nice to see that our class came out and has done this good.
Tyler Tate again. Eli and Austin, this is the second time Kawasaki has swept the Triple Crown. Talk to us about the program that you have in the bikes that has allowed you to kind of succeed in these races.
I mean, it's just a combination of everything. You know, you gotta have the team getting the bike ready for all three of those motos. Like it's a scramble. You know, changing clutches and just making sure it's good to go. Putting the new tires on. So, everyone's got to have their stuff together. And really, you gotta be the consistent guy. I mean, yeah, you gotta win, but it's kind of like you gotta manage those three motos. So yeah, it was a great day for us.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's obviously good for Kawasaki. My bike's been great all year. I mean, I don't really ride with the 450 guys very much. As far as I kind of just ride with the guys on pro circuit or at public tracks. But I rode with Eli this week at one of the test tracks. So it's good. It's solid. I was trying to qualify as be up there with the 450 guys today. I wanted to be right up there with them in qualifying, and it's just cool to see kind of where we compare and stuff. But yeah, good day for Kawasaki, I guess.
Austin, when you've done so much winning as you have this season, does it create more pressure to kind of keep that streak going, or does it maybe take some of the pressure off, and you've racked off another win, so you feel more confident and just less pressure?
I mean, obviously, I want to keep winning, but it really doesn't change anything. I want to keep winning, and I know that. It doesn't matter if it was the first race or if it's the third race. These guys don't want me to. They want to win just as bad as I want to win. So I still just got to go out and do my thing and not really worry about anybody else. Ride my laps, be clean, and obviously the starts have been helping a lot. So just not really thinking about championship stuff right now. Obviously, if I keep getting podiums and wins, then I'll be fine. So that's just podiums, wins, obviously doing the best I can.
Brian Converse, Motocross Action. This question's for Jordan and Chase. The guy to your left seems to be just ticking away, doing all the right things, and you guys don't seem to be that far off that pace. I mean, there's one thing that you probably got to do. What do you think that one thing is for each of you to be able to rope him in this season?
Biggest thing is starts. He's been pretty lights out with the starts, and just getting out in front and, like he said, riding just your own laps. It's being in the top 5 is not good enough. You